What is going on, everyone? How we doing tonight so far? What do we got? 3 people here? Let me see what is going on. Let's get this thing rolling. Let's try and stop that from pounding. We're still using subpar equipment today. What is going on, everyone? All right, let's catch up with the live stream. So howdy. Okay, let's get this over here. Communicating with it. We are doing good in just a minute. How is everyone? Morning. Is it morning where you're at? Aye, almost, Tom. Midnight. Audio is cutting in and out. Briggs. Okay, yo. Hi. Fine. How are you? Is my audio okay, guys? Are we still cutting out? 1. Lexi, thank you so much for supporting the channel. The audio's still cutting out? See, yes, okay, it's perfect. Sounds good. Perfect. We're still using the cell phone. I did a bunch of things on my Canon. I finally figured out what was going on. Lexi, by the way, thank you for supporting the channel. Really appreciate that. And I thought I fixed it, and then while I was getting ready to go up, it froze again. I hate technology. I think I'm gonna hire a professional to come over and just set up my whole system. All right, let's get in here. There's Mr. Briggs. All right, Lexi, I really appreciate that. Hey, everyone. Miss Hannah, how are you? Good to see you. I miss you too. Miss you a lot. Halloween Hannah, who had a pretty good idea for a channel, but she just doesn't do it as often as I'd like to see her do it. But that's how life goes, right? All right. Yeah, I know, you got 2 babies. That kind of sucks. Well, it doesn't suck that you have 2 babies. It just sucks that you lose a lot of time when you start having kids, right? Okay, let me see what we've got going on here. Yeah, you know, I wasn't going to do a live stream tonight, and then my dad wanted to go out, so I took my dad out for a bit, and when I came back, I was like, I got nothing to do. I think I'm going to live stream, so I'm live streaming. Thoughts on Roseburg, Oregon? Seems relatively cheap. It is relatively cheap. And it's not that bad. I mean, if you want to go back about 5 or 6 years, they did have a little bit of a problem with the pill situation, but most Oregon did. And Roseburg's not that bad now. Pittsburgh? Watching me and Bill Maher, huh? Caleb, how are you? You leaving? That was quick. Late for you, huh? Hey, Summit Dave, how are you? Thoughts on Columbus, Ohio? If you got to move to a city in Ohio, that's the best bet. As far as the cities go, Cleveland, Cincinnati, Dayton, they all blow. Cincinnati, it sucks, but not nearly as bad as Dayton and Cleveland. Thank you, Nicholas. Charles, thank you for being a long-time viewer. Thoughts on Sacramento? So, Sacramento isn't the best. I've seen way better. Oh, you know what? I missed one. Mike H, thank you for supporting the channel, Mike H. Luke, Raleigh, North Carolina, Fort Wayne, Indiana. Raleigh. I'd go with Raleigh in a heartbeat before Fort Wayne. But Fort Wayne is great too. You know, yeah, I'd probably choose Raleigh before Fort Wayne. But I shouldn't say it's not that much better. But yeah, Raleigh over Fort Wayne. Carl Joanna. I have been good, thank you. Hi from Henderson, Nevada. Thomas, how are you? Fresno, there's not much good in Fresno. I have a friend, Eric, who could tell you all about how reasons not to move to Fresno. Brandon, how are you? Finer Growth, hey, how are you? Bella, how are you? You should Caribbean episodes. I just did an international video. The one I just did, hour-long video, 53 minutes. Oh my God, it tanked. Horrible. I'm giving up on international videos for a while. They just don't get the views. I mean, I like doing them. There's a lot of interesting stuff going on internationally, but it's just, it doesn't get the views. And it kind of breaks my heart because, you know, I want to explore other places and tell you about other places. It's just, they just don't get the views. That is the absolute worst video I've done, view-wise. I thought it was good quality, but the views, probably the worst I've had in about 3 years. Not even kidding. Now, that being said, when I did 100 things to do in the United States before you die, that was about a year ago, and it took like 2 months, and all of a sudden that one just blew up. So maybe that'll happen. I don't know. If you haven't seen that one yesterday, it's 53 minutes long. Get a drink, get some popcorn, relax, watch it. In Tall Pines, how are you? It's great to see you too. Texachusetts. I've done a few videos on Canada, Killjoy. Hey, Miss Witt, how are you? Watching Rick's Fort Bend County. It's getting overpopulated, yeah. A lot of places are getting overpopulated. That's what the locals think. Hey, by the way, don't forget to hit the thumbs up on this video, guys. A lot of places are starting to see a lot of growth, and it's irritating a lot of the locals. If you live in a place that sucks, you're probably happy to see some of the people go. But if you're in a decent place, a lot of people are moving there, and of course you're going to complain about it because it's getting crowded. I didn't see. Definitely listen on the road. Phone connection. Yeah, yeah. I understand your situation, Lexi. Howdy from Atlanta, Susan. How are you? My audio is fine. Good. I live in Oregon currently. I grew up in California, but I was, lived in Georgia for a while and a couple other states, Colorado, things like that. Thank you, John Kelly. I appreciate that. Dennis, thank you. Thought my son was helping. Both my sons actually work for the channel now, but Thor, he doesn't deal with the live stream. I kind of do it myself. And I got a nice setup. I just don't know what's going on with my Canon camera. It keeps freezing on me. It's just weird. I don't understand it. And then I have a bunch of webcams. They all suck. So it's almost like my phone just looks a little better than the webcams I have. San Bernardino, huh? Roseville, California. Shepherd's World. What? I just read something about Roseville and I can't remember what it was. It wasn't good. Do you think you got the itch for geography in the military? Separated. Yeah, I really did. When I was in the Army, I just kept thinking about places I wanted to live. And when I would be someplace training or whatever, I would always go drive out and check out small towns. I think that kind of got the bug on it. And then later on, Google came around and I'd always look up small towns. And if I was in the area, I'd just go there and check it out for a day or so. Wyoming, and planning to go to Oregon for a long weekend since my wife hasn't been there. Yeah, Astoria is nice. Definitely go down and see. I wouldn't suggest Portland. Go down to like Cannon Beach and Seaside too while you're in Astoria. That's nice down there. Even though Portland's getting better, I just drove down there and it looks so much nicer since the last year. It's still bad, don't get me wrong, but it looks better. Where in the world? Carmen San Diego. Okay, there you go. That was a great game back in the day. They had a TV show for a while, didn't they? How'd I end up in Aloha, Oregon? We were going to move to Oregon. I had friends out here in this area, in the Aloha Beaverton area, and when we decided to move to Oregon, just be close to friends and family, so we moved here. It was either going to be this or Colorado, but since my wife and, well, we all kind of like to hit the beach occasionally, we went there. Briggs is fine, camera seems... Albany, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, worst to best. Syracuse, Albany maybe, Rochester, Buffalo. Yeah, that was and one of my, I think Thor, my oldest, used to play Carmen's where in the world's Carmen San Diego. Thanks, Wick. Avoid Jackson, yeah, tourist trap. Nothing like a $10 cup of coffee, and it's bad coffee. Do I go shirtless at the beach? Yes. Doesn't everyone go shirtless at the beach? Hey Briggs, huge fan of your channel. Los Angeles native, eventually going to move to Washington State. Good plan. A lot of people are doing that, Brandon. Washington is kind of taken over where Oregon used to be. Not as many people from California moved to Go Browns. Not as many people are moving from California to Oregon as they used to. Now they're going to Idaho and Washington. I mean, we still get them, just not, it's not as popular as it once was. I did States with the Laziest People. Not too long ago. What I missed? Sorry, guys, I got, just so you know, I got about almost, 160 people in the chat right now. And I'm doing this by myself, so if I missed your comment or anything like that, I do apologize in advance. I try and get it home. You're shirtless when you got kicked out of... Were you No, I was not shirtless when I got kicked out of a bar with Nick Johnson. It was raining. We were fully clothed. What's the cheapest city in Washington? Ooh, I don't know. As long as you don't move to Wyoming. I don't care. We're full. There you go. Briggs, what video? That you don't need a car to move to. So that is a good one. That's a good idea. Do a video about, you know, most walkable or places that have really good public transit. That's a good video. I think we've thought about that before. And I'm sorry I look so pink tonight, guys. It's just the camera. I apologize. Scenic, there you go, that's a good one. I got kicked out of a bar with Nick Johnson. Mike H, thank you very much. I like Utah. It's like cheaper than Colorado. Yeah, it's a little bit cheaper in Colorado. It's actually a little bit nicer, which is rare. I mean, not as far as natural beauty. Utah's, you know, a good-looking state. It's got a lot of things to do outdoors, but Colorado blows it out of the water. Compared to most states, Utah is better for outdoor beauty and all that stuff. But Colorado just happens to be like one of those top 5 states. But yeah, it is cheaper, definitely. Okay, let me see. You need... Yeah, I'm a little pink tonight. I know that. I'm sorry. No, I'm not considering a move. Maybe into Washington. We're thinking about buying a farm, or we're going to get some land down closer to the coast. Not sure. Nick Johnson, I think Nick grew up in San Bernardino. So yeah, that is pretty much the hood. I grew up in the, you know, on the streets of a gated community, so a little bit different. I always like to tell people that. I grew up on the streets of a gated community. What about a conspiracy theory video? I've done a couple of them. So last week we were supposed to do our first iceberg video, which iceberg videos are pretty interesting. You start off with a subject. Like the first one we're doing is what's wrong with California. And we list the things that are the biggest problems. Then we go a little bit deeper into those problems, then a little bit deeper. Then finally towards the bottom, you start getting into the conspiracy theories and what people think is going wrong with California. Goes from there. It's pretty interesting. Greg Barbailey, I'm doing good. How are you, buddy? All right, let me catch up here a little bit. What do you think about KCK? Don't know. Iceberg videos are good depending on how you do them. They can be great. So, yeah, Andrew, I'm not going to do them. A lot of the iceberg videos, they go down like this dark hole of, you know, where it gets all creepy, and that's kind of how they went. But I've noticed iceberg videos are getting away from that, and it's just becoming a way of explaining something, almost like a top 10 list. It's just a different way of going at it. And they're kind of evolving, iceberg videos. They don't always have to be about murders and, you know, missing people and creepy things that happen on the internet. Thoughts on Salt Lake City? Salt Lake City's nice. I hate Salt Lake. The Salt Lake, it's horrible. It smells like battery acid. You're flying to Warsaw 8 days, then Ukraine border. Triage. There you go, Rick. Risky Ron. That could be entertaining or deadly. Political views in one sentence. Political views in one sentence. I can make it very simple for you. Both parties suck. Where you get your news is the only difference. I mean, both parties suck. It's just which one is worse depends on where you get your information from. That's all there is to it. Largest homosexual community in the U.S. With the best dating scene. Good question. I don't know. I have a relative I can call and ask him. He's all up on that stuff. I did get an email. Oh, it's on my phone. I can't show you. You know how you get, you know, it says telemarketers, and sometimes the telemarketers are tricky and they use local numbers or something like that, and then they sometimes use a name like Danny O'Brien. I got one the other day, was from Gay Ron. I'm like, okay, should I call this guy back just to see where he got that name from? Hey Sanders, how are you? Kansas City, okay, yeah, I thought that. I just normally call it KC, not KCK. But I guess since Kansas City is split, it can be too. Makes sense. I've never even thought about that. I've been doing this for how long? Did you give a notification? You know what, Darth, I did it abruptly. I just decided I was going to, and I said, I'm streaming in 10 minutes. That was it. Tall Pines. Penelope, now I'm curious. Okay, did I miss something? I hate it when I miss something. Oh, and Benny, I appreciate you supporting the channel. Thank you. But Douglas Briggs, let's see what you had to say. Working on writing out scripts for my new geography channel. Lots of top 10 lists, but I swear I'm doing my own research and not copying you. Thanks, Douglas. That's I appreciate that. Just don't be like everyone else and make your thumbnails exactly like mine, and then actually put a globe on your icon or your whatever, your profile picture. 200 people in the chat. Yeah, I don't know how. So there's some channels, and you know, they ignore the chat completely and they just ramble on and on and on. I watch some live streamers and they have like 700 people in the chat, and I'm like, how do you keep up with that? I'm here to communicate with you guys and talk to you guys. They're just talking about a subject and going on, and I don't understand how they do that. But that's just their thing. I just watched your video last night on the worst small towns in Colorado. Rifle was number 3 on your list. Is it really that bad? If the stats say they are, they are. Now, here's the thing about stats versus people's experience. I had this conversation with someone earlier. Crazy Cool Lady, thank you so much for supporting the channel. Really helps out. So, we'll be right here, Carl. Let me explain something to you about the stats. So, if I give you the stats paint a pretty good picture. A lot of people will say, well, if you didn't experience it, you don't know it. Well, no, actually, I think the stats do paint a better picture, because if I talk to 100 people from Atlanta, any city, let's just use Atlanta for an experience, and I ask them, where is the most dangerous neighborhood? Out of those 100 people, I'm probably going to get 30 different neighborhoods as an answer. So, you know, everyone has opinions, everyone has prejudice, everyone has, you know, urban legends in their head of what the most dangerous neighborhoods or what the best schools are, whatever the subject. So you got to go by the stats, because if you go by the locals' opinion, that's all you're getting is their opinion. You might be right some of the time, but you're not. Matter of fact, I did a video on the most dangerous neighborhoods in Los Angeles, and I got so many people hitting me up. Why wasn't Compton on there? Why wasn't Compton there? Well, since about 1997 or 99, Compton, it's bad. It's definitely not one of the worst neighborhoods in Los Angeles anymore. Now, you're talking late 80s, early 90s, horrible place. It was the worst place. Now, Compton's not a bad place compared to other Los Angeles bad neighborhoods. So, you know, that Compton's just going by legend and old movies and things like that. It's not that bad. So that's why you got to go by the stats. Now I just rambled on about 10 minutes. Let me see what I missed. San Marcos, Yuma, Arizona is a great retirement city. Yeah, Mexico, close, Colorado. Thank you, crazy cool lady. I appreciate that. Thanks, Douglas. Appreciate that. Compton, yeah, Compton lore. That's about what it is. Compton's really not that bad. It was, not anymore. Yeah, the Williams sisters. I mean, they, you know, I could drive through Compton right now and feel perfectly safe. Well, not perfectly safe, but I wouldn't worry about it. If I had to go someplace in Compton tomorrow, I'd have no problem going there. If you would have told me I was going to Compton around 1991, I would have, you know, probably told you you're effing crazy. I'm not going there. It's totally different. I've been to Las Cruces, New Mexico. I have a good friend from there. He actually just moved to New Hampshire, actually. It's a good friend, good guy. Yeah, Compton over Long Beach. Does anyone know how bad Long Beach is? No. Now it is. Everyone still thinks Compton is worse. Yeah, NWA moved out. Straight Outta Compton, their album was actually straight out of Redondo Beach. I know where they recorded it. I used to drive by the studio all the time. Here's another thing I keep getting on emails. People wanting me to give them a report. They want to pay me to give them advice on where to move. I don't know if that's something I want to do. I keep getting emails about it. It's just not something I'm going to do. Utah discriminating against those not pioneer family. Yeah, you know, I've always heard, I've never experienced it because I've never really stayed in Utah other than a vacation or so. I've heard that if, I wouldn't say they're racist, because it's just, they don't want anyone moving there that isn't one of, like, you've got like, what's the old, you don't come from old Utah family stock, you know? Thoughts on Rio Rancho, New Mexico? Rio Rancho's not bad. If it's the one I'm thinking of. I don't know. If it's the one I'm thinking of that's just outside of Albuquerque, it's not bad. East St. Louis is bad. East St. Louis is one of the worst places in the world. If you ever look at East St. Louis, going from St. Louis, you cross over the bridge to go to East St. Louis, you could see there's a quick turnaround so you can get back on the freeway. And it's for when people realize they've made a horrible mistake and they just turn right back and get back on the freeway. Is it true you have a hot one? I think so. Is my wife hot? Yeah, I think so. Someone said not too long ago in the chat that my wife was like 20 years younger than me. No, she's like 6 years younger than me. Great to see you, hairy nuts. Best medium-sized city in the Pacific Northwest. Good question. I'd have to think about that. Okay, sorry. Good evening, D. Bibliographies. You're... So Nick's got a good thing going on, and like, you know, you can't hate anyone for their politics or how they see the world, because who says you have all the answers? You know, that's how I see it. Your politics, almost like religion, your politics and your religion, if they work for you, do it. It's nobody else's business. And if Nick's, you know, if he wants to lean that way, that's on him. He could do it. I don't have all the answers. I can't criticize him, and I don't think anyone else can. About religion that most potential food shortages, regions that have most potential food shortages. That's so when it comes to food shortages, that's one of those things that gets thrown around. Like, we're about to run out of food. We're about to run out of food. Not running out of food. But that being said, I do always suggest that you have at least 30 days food at your house. I don't know Cottonwood. D&D Doing Dream. I don't know Cottonwood, but Clarkdale is the one I'm thinking of. It's not that bad. Could be wrong. Worcester, Mass. You know, I'd have to call my friend Estancia. She knows Worcester really good. I always thought it sounded like steak sauce, but how did I get a pig? Well, funny story. Thor, his ex-girlfriend came home one day and was all, "Hey, my coworker has to get rid of a mini pig, and my wife, you know, can't take it when someone has to get rid of their animals, so my wife takes them in and adopts them. So we got a pig without doing any research, didn't know anything about it, so we got this pig that was about that big. Now, she's huge because we didn't know there's no such thing as a mini pig. Do your research, everyone. She's wonderful, though. I love her, but she's just, PM, good night. Thanks for hanging out. She's just a handful. Oh, I've been to Lake Havasu many times. Thoughts on Santa Fe? Santa Fe's a beautiful town. Mike, how are you? Arizona's always going to have water problems. I mean, California's having water problems. Charlie Lackey, thank you very much for supporting the channel. I really appreciate that. Thought I saw Wes Brown on here. Guess not. Okay. By the way, I think California is in a drought. Oh, California's been in a drought since I was in high school, and that was a very long time ago. Best towns, cities that border Canada. That could be done, actually. That's not a bad idea. And just so you know, I right now have 47 good ideas. We added it up the other day. We have 47 good ideas for videos. And then we have like 10 series that we want to do. So if you suggest anything, it might be a while before we fit it in. We just had a tornado watch. Oh, I heard some places are having tornado watches right now. Hey, Briggs, love the channel. Was wondering if you, the history of Milton, Vermont. It is quite an interesting Vermont town. I will look it up and tell you what I think. I'm getting ready to do one of the most historic towns in the United States, or places at least. Briggs, hey, how are you, Idaho farm gal? Best place to vacation in Colorado. Good idea. It's going to be the west side of the state, not the east side of the state. You're noticeably losing weight. I am losing weight. I am down 30 pounds since my peak during the middle of the pandemic. So I'm down 30 pounds. I lost 30 pounds. I gained a little bit back. I was down like 35 pounds, then I shot up another 5. So, but thanks for noticing. California current mega drought been going on since '98. Yeah. Stats aside, my favorite state: Pennsylvania, Vermont, or Oregon. It's going to be one of them. I just like the greenery. I just like having water everywhere. It's just how I am. I don't do deserts. I don't like mountains that are just, dry. I like wet ground, green trees, cloudy skies. That's just my thing. Bellevue, Washington. It's not a bad place to live. Another Army buddy. So here's the thing. I always bring up Army buddies, and there's a reason for that. Most people that join the military, they'll get to know a few people because they're always moving people around. When I first went in the Army, I spent my first 4 years with the same guys I went through basic training. So we all went through it. So I probably have 130 friends that I know exactly where they live right now. I know what they're doing, and we communicate on Facebook and all that stuff all the time. And it's because we were in this thing called a cohort unit, and we were very close. We developed a really close bond, most of us, so we all still in communication. So that's why I always say, I got a friend that lives there, I got a friend that lives there. I just lucked out and got in a cohort, with some really good people I liked. Have you tried Alaska ferry from... No, I have not. I'm going to Alaska the end of next month too. We got asked to do a cruise, so I'm going on a cruise. Another one to Alaska. This will be my 3rd cruise to Alaska in 12 months. In Tall Pines, I don't know. I get what you're saying. Hey, in Tall Pines, I think you keep answering questions I asked like 10 minutes ago. Check, make sure you're up to date, because I don't think you're live. I think you're watching us about 5 minutes late. Thoughts on Philly suburbs? They have some nice ones. Philly, it's such a historical city, and it's so old. It's just too bad that it's got some places. Well, all cities do. I shouldn't just make it sound like they do, but they got some places that are pretty bad. Seaside, Seaside's not that bad. If you could afford it, I think everyone would have prefer Cannon Beach. Cannon Beach is a lot better. Seaside is more of the place where you go there and drink 12 packs on the beach with a bunch of your friends, have a fire, things like that. Cannon Beach is, in my opinion, a little bit more of a family type place. Thoughts on Eugene being under? Eugene's not a bad place to live. Eugene is definitely not a bad place to live. I'm sorry, I think I did get that one. Never mind. California has all but absorbed Vegas, Reno. Pretty much. Your thoughts on retirement in Portland, Maine. So if you can handle the cold and you don't mind it, Portland, Maine is a wonderful place to retire. The property's not crazy. I mean, Maine's kind of expensive all around, but it's not crazy expensive like you'd get in San Francisco or parts of New York or stuff like that. It's doable for most people, I would say. What you do get with that is pretty much complete safety. There's like no crime that goes on in Maine or New Hampshire or Vermont. They have the lowest. Those 3 states are the 3 lowest crime rate in the nation. Portland, for being a medium city, is not that bad. In Tall Pines, were you late in the thing? Were you back 5 minutes? I've not been to Star Valley. Do live stream from outer space. I wish I could. Yes, I've been to Oregon, California, or Colorado. Harry Nuts, good night. Love saying Harry Nuts. Oh yeah, Karen. Los Angeles is different from when we were young. Best cities on the southern border. Ooh, that's a good one. That's a good question. I love El Paso. El Paso, most people think it's like this crime-ridden hellhole because it's right next to the border. It's not. It's not. It's a nice family town. It's one of those places you go there, talk to someone long enough, and they will actually invite you to a barbecue, and you don't even need to know them. It'll be a great barbecue. A lot of tequila normally, but it's a good time. Nicholas M. Or no, Nicole. Sorry, I called you Nicholas. Nicole M. Thank you. Good to see you. Veterans Edition for 100% disabled veterans exemption. Da 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 da. So I've been working on one for a while. That I'm working on two. One, best towns for veterans. I've got like 6 of them that I consider really good for veterans. And then I'm working on disability one. I worked on disability one before, but for some freaking reason, it got demonetized before I ever posted it. So, and I've tried to get some clarification on what it's about, but they won't tell me. What is going on here? Do you watch Perfect Strangers? I haven't. Is Perfect Strangers even on anymore? What, Miss Chick, is that honestly something that was so important that you had to put it 10 times in the chat? What? Of all the things you're going to put in the chat to spam, you're going to put, do you watch Perfect Strangers? I'm glad you're a Bronson Pinchon fan. Pinchon, I can't even say his name right now. I loved him in that Eddie Murphy one, Beverly Hills Cop. Oh my God, he was so funny in that. Lemon twist. Yes, we need to show Bronson Pinchot some. Okay, Bronson Pinchot, whatever his name is, gets some love. Thank you, Rocky. Ever been to Ohio? Many times. Okay. And there's small towns video in Idaho. I'm getting ready to do some more best small towns lists. We spent so much time on that European one that just totally tanked. I mean, that one was rough. That was hard to do. It took us a lot of hours to put that video together. It didn't do good at all, and I'm kind of bummed out about that. But we'll get back to doing the best small towns next week. Best rural small towns. Overserved, like that. I'm going to New Hampshire and Maine in the summer. Yeah, find a good place to hike in Maine or New Hampshire. If you like to fish, I'd prefer New Hampshire. But it's just the hiking there. The mountain biking is amazing. What's my favorite cultural region in the South? Okay, so I'm not a fan of the South. I spent too much time there when I was in the military, and I'm just completely burnt out on it. I do like, Savannah, Charleston. I like some of the coastal cities, but everywhere else I just have no time for. I think culturally, my favorite place would... If you're looking for culture, I like the Arizona... I like the Hispanic neighborhoods with the food, the people, stuff like that. So if you're talking culturally, that's what I like to be around. I grew up in an all-Mexican neighborhood. I was the only blonde kid on my block. My sister had blonde hair, but all my friends called me Yellowhead because I had blonde hair. They all had black hair. So yeah. I actually come from, I've told this story before, I'll tell you again, but I come from a neighborhood that back in the 30s and 40s, it was all strawberry fields and things like that. And the only people working those fields back then were the Irish and the Mexicans. So over the generations, there's been a lot of intermingling, and most the white guys I know are married to a Hispanic girl, and there's a lot of that. It's so bad that if you go to a Little League game in Redondo Beach, California, especially South Redondo, you'll see a kid, red hair, freckles, and his jersey will say Sanchez. And then the other side, you'll see a kid that's obviously Hispanic, and his jersey says O'Brien. It's a really unique neighborhood because of that. And it's been traced all the way back to the people that were working the fields back in the 30s and 40s. I am from the South Bay. I grew up in Redondo Beach and Torrance. What is the cheapest town to live in without being a southern state? Indigo, you're probably going to want to look at Iowa. There's a lot of really nice towns, Iowa, Nebraska. Those are your best bet. Kansas, too. You'll find some really, really cheap towns in that part of the country, and definitely not in the South. Well, thank you, Megan. I appreciate that. If you guys want to help out the channel, go back and watch that 53-minute video. I mean, just watch it and kind of do something else. I don't care. That one just did not get the love that I thought it should have. It was definitely, I wouldn't say it's a waste of time because I enjoyed doing the video. But if you look at it from a business standpoint, we put a lot of effort and a lot of time into a video that didn't do anything for us. Youngstown is nice. Thanks, Logan. I appreciate that. Are you looking forward to your next NFL season? I am always looking forward to the next NFL season because this coming year, like I've said for 25 years, is going to be Cleveland Browns' year. I've been wrong 24 of the last 25, but this is the year. My wife claims that being a Cleveland Browns fan, for me, it's like I'm in a bad, abusive relationship, and every single season the Browns tell me they're not going to do it to me again, and I come back and I believe them, which is kind of true. Every year I believe they're going to be better next year. It's weird. Yeah, they did in the late 90s. They had a nice little run there. I think they made the playoffs two years in a row. Oh, Charlie, I mean, it's even worse than that. I mean, last time the Browns really were, I mean, they had a couple years where they made it in the playoffs, but when they were actually Super Bowl contenders and legit top NFL team was 83, 84, maybe 85. Yeah, you know, Randy, I think Watson's a good thing. I like Baker Mayfield, and then I start seeing some video about all the passes he missed, and I mean, I like him. He seems like a really nice guy, and he really has that, loves the game and wants to win. He just made some horrible mistakes. Hey, yeah, did you think I was younger? That's anyone that always happens upon the channel for the first time, they're all, oh, I thought you were like in your 20s. I haven't been in quite some time. I've been to Aurora, Illinois, many years ago, though. So if you're asking me any questions about it, I don't know. Cleveland Browns won. Oh, wow. The first Monday night game. This coming season, I will be in Cleveland for a game. I look 40? Well, thank you. Yeah, that does suck, Andrew. You're right. They did make him play when he probably shouldn't have played. Special sports are too qualified to live in college. I don't know. So, a Major League Sports team brings a lot of money to a city. A lot of money through tourism, through just name recognition, all that good stuff. I mean, if a big company's moving to a city, a lot of times that's something they put out there. Look, we even got the Angels in town, or the Dodgers, something like that. So those things do help, but they cost a city a lot of money. It's just over the years, I think the cities make their money back. But I think they are important to a degree. It kind of puts you on the map as a major city. I mean, any city that's got, other than Green Bay, that has a professional sports team is a big city, and that will draw in big industries in some cases, because it's just the way it is. I don't know. Glenn's Ferry, Idaho. Oh crap, what did I just hit? hit something. Anyway, missed that. Briggs. My husband works head of revitalization project in Glens Ferry, Idaho. The area, railroads, Oregon Trail. Oh, wow. Well, Idaho farm gal, I might take you up on that. Email me your information, world2briggs@gmail. The number 2, world number 2 Briggs. Do Olympics do the same? I think they do, but the Olympics have gotten too expensive to where now they're a money drain. Excuse me. I think somewhere around the 90s they quit being worth it. Here's a fun fact. Colorado, Denver actually, is the only city to ever turn down the Olympics. They were selected. They said, you know what, on second thought, we don't want it. And it was going to be too expensive. So, yeah. That's how, actually, I could be wrong. But I think that's how Lake Placid got the Olympics in the 80s. Oh, here we go again. Listen, Miss Chick, I got to keep putting you on timeout if you spam the chat, okay? That's not okay. Well, I put her on hold or on timeout, and she came right back. Hey, Ron. Portland needs... You know, we're trying to get one right now, Portland. I hope they do. That'd be neat. I've seen the little 3D rendering of the stadium they want to build. And there's this really cool bridge called the Fremont Bridge here in Portland. And right outside center field, you'd be looking at the Fremont Bridge. It looks really neat. The 3D mock-up thing of it looks amazing. I'd love it if they did get that team. About the truth. Because I got... You like Timber? You know I'm not a soccer fan. I haven't even been to a game. And people around here go crazy for the Timbers and the Thorns and all that. It's just not my thing. Portland had a Major League Baseball team many years ago. There's a documentary on it on Netflix. I forget what it's called, like The Battling Bastards of Baseball or something like that. Should the U.S. get into cricket? You know what? I think the U.S. and most places are kind of falling out of... losing their love for professional sports. And I think adding a new one, it would just fail. Hello, how about... I don't even know where that is in Arkansas. Astros do cheat. Have I ever been to the Houston suburbs? Yeah, quite a few of them. I don't follow the Trailblazers, not a basketball fan. I watch football, I watch baseball a little bit, I watch hockey, and I watch the UFC. That's all I got time for. But big time football. I watch the Browns every single game, every single season. Is Vegas safe for children? Not Vegas, not Paradise, but if you go out into Henderson, that's nice. There's a lot of nice areas around there. But Vegas itself is not, you know, downtown Vegas or Paradise where the Strip is. Yeah, you don't want to be anywhere near that. Have you been to the beach, at least in Mexico? Yeah, I've been to Mazatlan several times. Puerto Vallarta, Tijuana, Ensenada, Rosarito Beach. I used to go there all the time. Oh, I wish I could move to Lake of the Ozarks. I want land there so bad. Yeah, I think, Cain Velasquez story, you know what? I understand why he did what he did. Totally understand it. But, yeah, I think it was a bad move for him. For him personally. I think he should have just let the authorities take care of it. And, if the authorities couldn't take care of it, if the guy got off, I think that's when you do something like that. You don't do something like that when there's been an accusation. That's my opinion. I mean, I don't know. That's just how I would have done it, but I don't know the whole story. Gabriel, I think the Browns did a good thing. I mean, Baker Mayfield, I like him as a quarterback. I just think they upgraded, so they upgraded pretty good. So, thoughts on Seaside? We were just talking about that. It's nice. It's just more of a place where you grab beer, go down the beach, hang out with your friends, compared to Cannon Beach up the road a little bit, where it's a nice place to hang out with your family, things like that. First time you see me, glad to see you. Bill, thanks for showing up. Thank you, Matthew. I appreciate that. Do you think the Browns should? No, we got to keep it weather. Got to keep the weather going. Thoughts on Miami? Miami's not that bad. I mean, if you want good food and meet interesting people, Miami's great. It's just hella expensive, and they do have some areas that you should avoid at all costs. Do you believe that develop respiratory illness retiring? Do you believe one can develop respiratory illness by retiring in San Joaquin Valley? It's definitely doable. Yeah, you can get a respiratory issue living in that valley. I thought you was great. Inner show? My international video? I liked it, Paul, if that's what you're talking about. I never watched sports. I played mainly soccer and some baseball. Played baseball when I was young, played soccer when I was young, but I played football in high school. I wrestled, and I was hyperactive, so my mom put me in karate at like kindergarten, and I did some form of martial arts my entire life. So that's why I watch UFC. Actually, I was going to the Gracies when the first UFC was coming out. And they had flyers. I didn't even know anything about it. Someone had to sit me down, and they're showing us the flyer, and I was like, what is this? They had to explain it to us. My recommendation, Manzanita's nice. Cannon Beach if you can afford it. Depot Bay, whatever you want to call it, Depot Bay. That's nice. I've been there a couple times. I've never lived there, but I've been through there. I like Brookings, which I've stayed a couple days in Brookings, which is down the south part. That was nice. A lot of people don't like Brookings. I thought it was fine. Astoria is kind of okay. But I think out of all of them, I would definitely choose Manzanita or Cannon Beach. I was a cornerback in high school. And I kicked occasionally. Bill, I'm not trying to hide my age. I'll always show my age. Greenville, South Carolina. I have relatives. Actually, my biological father lives not too far from there. My favorite airline, I like Delta, probably because I get a lot of free miles from them. Joel, yeah, I'm 29, that's right. 11B, then 35 Mike. I don't really have many thoughts on Greenville, South Carolina. It's okay. I mean, there's definitely worse places in South Carolina. Thanks, Karen's old man. Check out Instant Eagers YouTube. The Ozarks. I will. Can you ever do cost breakdown of Hampton Road City? Maybe. 95B, that is, oh, wait, don't tell me. No, I don't know. What was that? Oh, military police. Why didn't I? Why was I? I was thinking military police was 90B. Advice for those driving on the I-405. It's just the 405 if you're in California. Move out of California. That's the worst freeway I've ever driven in my life. The freeway's nice and it's okay. It's just a parking lot 90% of the time. Someone's being an ageist here. Funny thing about MPs, so I go through basic training and we had a drill sergeant, and then this guy got drunk and out of hand in the barracks and started breaking windows. So we wrestled him to the ground, and we were only out of basic training about a year and a half maybe, and in walks my drill sergeant. So I'm like, oh my God. Well, he had finished his drill sergeant time and went back to being an MP, and he ended up getting Fort Ord where I was at the time, but it was like weird seeing him. I was like, oh my God. Which transportation do I most often take? Most often plane. Which do I prefer? Train. If I can get there by train, I don't mind burning the extra day. I so love the trains. Just a great way to see the country, meet people, talk to them. What Alabama improvements? 35 Mike. Yeah, you know, that was interesting. I had a drill sergeant that caught me sleeping on, wasn't even sleeping, I was kind of dozing off on fire watch one night. That man rode me the rest of the, I mean, we did basic and AIT in the same place. That man rode me every time he said, I actually, it's so sad, while we were going through our cycle, that drill sergeant that had been riding me, his father passed away and he wasn't there for like 2 weeks. And I was never so happy to hear someone died, because this guy rode me in every opportunity he could, because I was doing this while I was on guard, you know. And yeah, I always felt bad. I was happy his dad died, but I was at the end of my rope. Hey, I've always heard the best thing to do in Alabama is pack. So what made me decide to be a Cleveland Browns fan? I've kind of told the story before, but I'll tell it again. When I was in high school, we had the USFL, which just came back into thing. Anyway, we got to go there. It was a new league. They were hurting for fans. So you can go to the practices, talk to the players, hang out, and just got to know some of them. And well, when the league broke up, a bunch of the ones that I'd gotten to know went to the Cleveland Browns. So I was watching them, and then just became a Browns fan. You know, when you're a high school kid and you get these athletes are talking to you and they're nice to you, all of a sudden they're your friends in your head. So I was just watching my friends play football after that, and then just kind of stuck being a Cleveland Browns fan. Guard duty is important. Yep. Member for 12 months, super fan. AA Ron, I really appreciate you being a super fan. Worth every, thanks for that. Absolutely, buddy. I appreciate you being a member. Dennis, have a great night. Cheapest city with good schools. So, oddly, this is going to blow a lot of people away. Outside of Jackson, Mississippi, some of the other towns they have there, it's extremely inexpensive to live in Mississippi wherever you go. Stay out of Jackson, you'll be fine, but they don't have bad education. It's really strange. I don't know, I don't know what the deal is with that, but most of the time their schools aren't that bad. And it's dirt cheap. What state has the most aggressive drivers? California. Here in Oregon, it's not as much anymore because we get so many transplants, which I'm one of. But when I first moved here, it was weird because you put on your blinker and people give you space to move over. In California, you don't use your blinker on the highway because as soon as they see your blinker, they speed up. You know, they do that garbage. Just totally, it's a nightmare. That's California. In Oregon, you put on your blinker, they back off a little bit, give you plenty of room. It's the weirdest thing. The Guardians of Cleveland, I didn't like the name originally. Then when I found out where it comes from their bridge right there where there are two statues. I kind of like it a little bit better. But I don't think anything was wrong with the Indians. Best state for LGBTQ people? Yeah, I don't know. That'd be a good video, but I try and stay away from subjects like that because normally when you do a subject like that, it brings a lot of hate into the chat, and I don't want. It's like in my head, I don't want to be responsible for someone reading my chat and feeling bad. You know, I have relatives that are part of the LGBT community, friends, and I don't want them watching my videos going, what the fuck is with these people? You know, and that's normally what happens. There's a lot of effed up people that get in the comment section of any video. A lot of people go, oh, you block this, you block this. No, I block hate comments, I block profanity, and I block things like that. So if you're throwing out, you know, racial slurs, yeah, you're getting blocked. Well, just that thing is. But I'll get all these people all the time, oh, you block people in your comment section. Yeah, don't throw out racial crap and you won't get blocked. And, you know, that goes along with the LGBT slurs too. I am a fool for not taking 10 pay cut. It depends on if you're making 120,000, take a 10,000 pay cut. Yeah, but if you're making 30,000, I wouldn't take that 10 grand pay cut. Are you libertarian? You know, I'm not really anything. I vote. I'm independent. I vote for whoever I think is going to do the best job. What about, you know, after the drubbing we took from the international video I just did, I think we're going to take it easy on international videos for a little bit. Brian, I think they are every year. But this year, you know, they got a good quarterback and they got some good receivers. Maybe they'll be able to pull it off. And, I mean, Nick Chubb's just amazing. Thanks, Politics, as usual, 94. I appreciate that. Now you message retracted. Hey, Briggs, how are you doing? Briggs stopped. I haven't said that in a while, have I? What do I think of Georgia? Of the southern states, I think it's pretty good. I mean, I love Savannah. Savannah is one of my favorite cities to go visit. And then, you know, Atlanta's kind of fun. When I was younger, it was fun. I don't find it that fun anymore. I promise you my eyes don't look as bloodshot as they do in this. I'm looking at myself right now and it looks like I'm been, you know, partaking of the electric lettuce, but no, I have not. So Portland is liberal, but the thing about it is that's how they vote. It's not like people are really trying to get you to be a liberal here. I always get people, I wouldn't move, there's too many liberals. Well, don't worry, you could still be whatever you want. They don't chase you down the street and make you re-register or anything like that. What do I think about Mexico? Mexico's nice. I mean, it can get dangerous, but it's nice. Charleston's great. What countries have I been to? Colombia, Peru, Brazil, all of Central America, Canada, obviously Mexico, United States, a handful of other ones many, many years ago. But I think the Italian, I have no idea. Briggs, if Texas is ranked 31st out of all 50 states, does that mean it's very bad? No. I think if you're 50 to 41, you're one of the, 50 to 40, you suck. What about Rancho Cucamonga? What about it? What do I think about Colombia as a country? It's nice. I mean, it's gotten a hell of a lot better since the last time I was there, which was in the early 90s. Surf Nicaragua and El Salvador. My cousin surfs both those all the time, every year. Goes down for a trip. I've been to every state, and most of them more than once. Fort Sherman and Camp Big Bear. Sounds like Fort Sherman. Fort Sherman was part of Ranger School when I went to Ranger School. Boom, there we go. What's the vibe in Portland right now? I hope things are calming down, mellow, because I sure loved it. So, John, thanks for supporting the channel, first of all. I really appreciate that. Portland has gotten better. I was down there just 2 weeks ago, and they've been cleaning up a lot of the homeless camps and stuff, so that's getting better. It's still bad. It's just not near what it was a year ago. Crime's had a spike, but that's starting to kind of filter down a little bit too. But we'll see what happens this summer. As the summer comes, things pop up. But they are clearing up the homeless, which will, hopefully fix some problems. I hope they get the people to help, but they're moving them into these places where they're putting up these little shacks for them. It's not a shack, it's a prefabbed little room. They call them safe sleep things. And so they're moving a lot of them to those, and they're cleaning it up, and they're trying to make it instead of just the camp wherever you want type thing. So it's getting better. I'd give it another year and then show up. Briggs, are there any good Detroit suburbs? Yeah, I can't think of them right now, but there are some. Camp Big Bear, Honduras. I don't remember Camp Big Bear, Honduras. I stayed on the border most of the time. That was during the whole Iran-Contra affair thing, where the rebels would strike Nicaragua and then run across the Honduran border and all that. It was weird. I'd live in West Virginia long before I'd live in Arkansas. Van life, I don't know. That's a good one. That's something I haven't really researched. I've thought about it. Best place to live in your van or something like that, because that's a very popular subject on YouTube. But I don't know. Whew, okay, I'm getting tired. A few more minutes, then I'm going to shut this down. Almost midnight Chicago. Nicaragua, exactly. Big Briggs. Hey, thanks, Jason. I appreciate that. What town would you choose? Somewhere in the outskirts of Asheville. I like that mountainous area, and Asheville's kind of got a nice vibe I like. Yeah, that from here to there. Yeah, I don't know about that dude. That's one of the ones that he basically made a logo just like mine, and it's a mess. I don't know. I'm not gonna give him any airtime. Columbus, Ohio. Brian, how are you? How you have enough money to go to 50 states? So first thing, I was in the military for a while, and I got to travel a lot of different places then. Then also I was a stand-up comedian for years, so I'd travel to do comedy. And then a lot of times I'd be someplace like in the military, have a week off, and I'd end up going to other states and just drive around and check out small towns, stuff like that. Briggs, rank the FC Western teams. I can't even think of it right now. But I think Cincinnati's going to be up there at the top. Pittsburgh's not. Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, I think will be the top three. In what order, I don't know. I don't think I've been to Clarksdale, Mississippi. Tell me your wife, Madison, South Dakota, is better than San Gabriel. Please, Briggs, please tell my wife. Oh, I thought you said tell, like, my wife. I don't know what I was thinking. Briggs, please tell my wife, Madison, South Dakota is better than San Gabriel. Oh, by far. By far. San Gabriel Valley blows. The air quality is horrible. Ugh. What areas of Pennsylvania would you recommend? I like the northeast section up there, the outskirts of Scranton, you know, the small towns in that area. Those are really nice. That's, you know, Pennsylvania, that area, the lower part, I wouldn't be too keen on that area. But I definitely like that northeast corner. Boise's nice. The Rust Belt is bad, especially, but if, you know what, the Rust Belt is bad if you're there looking for a job. If you have a job, like you work remotely, most any place in the Rust Belt's going to be okay for you because it's going to be a lot cheaper. They got decent internet and you'll be able to work from home. You're not looking for a job. My suggestion is move there. Louisiana's horrible right now. They're like leading the country in crime, poverty, and a few other things. Can you joke of stand-up comedy? Can I tell a joke? Is that what you're saying? If you don't believe me, one of my first videos on this channel, just go back and watch it. It's many years old. I haven't done stand-up in years, but I used to. Thoughts on New Orleans? Stay in the French Quarter. Put your wallet in your front pocket. Have a good time. Don't go outside the French Quarter. You'll be fine. Yeah, Louisiana's not great. Oh, I'm going to do it big time. I'm going to give a bunch of stuff away when I hit 1 million subscribers. I've actually been keeping track of who's been a member the longest and who's been the most active on my channel, and we're going to have something really cool when we hit 1 million subscribers. And I'm hoping that's going to be March of next year. So buckle up for that. Oh, I love Madison, Wisconsin. Love Madison, Wisconsin. Good people there, great everything. It just gets cold. It gets really cold. That's a downside. It's been many years since I did comedy in Reno. God, a lot of years. Peoria, Illinois. I've been through Peoria. Haven't really, you know, stayed a couple hours, got some lunch, nothing major. Small towns of Florida. I live in one of them. Keystone Heights, Florida. Great place. Did you see the video? I talked about them being one of the best small towns in Florida. I am losing weight. Down about 30 pounds since, I don't know, the height of the pandemic when I gained a bunch of weight. Thank you for noticing. All right, guys. That's it for me. I'm dead tired. It's 10 o'clock here, and I'm getting punchy, and let's call it a night. All right, everyone. I appreciate you hanging out with me, as always. What is this button here? Oh, wait. Hey, look at this. I didn't even know we could do this. We have filters for it. Look at that. That's our going out stuff. All right, everyone. I appreciate you hanging out with me tonight. I will see you next time. Maybe we'll do this next week. All right, guys. Thanks. Now I got to figure out how to turn this off on my phone. Last week I did it and I couldn't figure out how to... And there we go.